everyone. Welcome to Star Wars Headlines for the week of March 19th. I'm Rebecca Mosley, the co-founder of LaughingPlace.com, and with me is our editorial director for Star Wars content, Mike Celestino. Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Thanks for your patience, Mike. My computer all of a sudden decided it didn't want to connect to the internet, so I shifted everything over to a different machine, and that's why we're a little bit late. And I appreciate anybody who stuck around and has arrived now.
That's fine. I'm working from home today, so I didn't have anywhere to be. No
Well, we've
problem.
got a lot of fun topics to discuss. There's been a lot of news and exciting arrivals coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah, this is big news. A lot of non-canonical Star Wars content is coming to Disney Plus, which is pretty exciting. I think most of the stuff that's on there now, except for some of the Lego animations, is canonical to the current Star Wars canon, but they're going to be adding the two Ewok movies from the mid 80s, which is Caravan of Courage and The Battle for Endor, the live action Ewok movies, plus the two seasons of the Ewoks cartoon from the mid 80s, and the Genndy Tartakovsky version of the Clone Wars cartoon, which predated the canon Clone Wars cartoon and actually came out between episodes 2 and 3, Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and filled in the gap between those two movies. So this is like the original version of those events, which has been since like wiped clear of the canon. They replaced it with the other Clone Wars cartoon, but I actually preferred this one. It's much more concise. It's much more like artfully made. I really liked that cartoon, and I hope everybody takes some time to watch it. It's not very long. I
A
think
lot of
watching the
this
whole, yeah, go ahead.
No, a lot of this content is going to be new to me because this was kind of a period for me where I was like, well, some of it aired in an era where I don't know that I really had a VCR and stuff. So if I missed it, I missed it. And then the Clone Wars I kind of phased out for a bit. So I'm excited because, like I say, it's new to me. So I'm really thrilled. Hi, Jamel. How you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. Okay. A friend from Florida jumping in
Sure.
to say hi.
Yeah, I'm excited to have all this stuff up there. I actually had just bought the Ewok movies on DVD because we're going to be talking about it on my podcast. But if I had known that they were going to put it on Disney Plus, I would have held off. I bought the DVD on eBay, had it mailed to Kyle and Becca Burbank because they're going to come on the show to talk about it with me. They watched it and then they mailed it to me. So this whole elaborate scheme could have been avoided if we had known they were going to add it.
Oh,
But
wow.
that's okay. Now I have them on DVD and it'll be on Disney Plus. And then also, you reminded me there, the animated segment from the Star Wars Holiday Special is also coming. It's called The Story of the Faithful Wookiee. It's the best part of the Holiday Special, in my opinion. Really, the only like watchable part. And it does feature the voice performances of the main cast, the original Star Wars trilogy, and introduced Boba Fett. Famously introduced the character of Boba Fett.
Now, is that something that's been previously out there as like its own entity?
Yeah, so they put that on one of the Blu-ray sets. That was like the first time it was officially released. Was I want to say like 5 or 10 years ago on one of the Star Wars Blu-ray sets. You can get that animated segment, but they've never released the remainder, the rest of the holiday special. It's
Very
only
cool.
available via bootleg.
And then next up, we wanted to showcase some figures that are coming to Walmart. Hang on, let me put those on screen. Oh, wait, we wanted to do the Black Series first. That's these figures,
Oh
yeah?
yeah, this was pretty exciting for me, especially that second one, the Jackson. So these are all, well, most of them. I don't know much about the Darth Maul. I'm not really a prequel era guy. I don't know what's special about this Darth Maul, but I know people were excited about that. But I was very excited to see Jackson making it into the 6-inch Black Series from Hasbro. That's a character that was introduced in the original Marvel Star Wars comic book from the late 70s. And then he's been reintroduced into the current canon in the comics as well, but not heavily featured. And this figure is interesting to me because they kind of designed him to look like he might look if he were quote unquote real. Like this would be like a live action version of Jackson if he were ever to appear in that form.
Hang on. I'm having a little hiccup right here. Hang on. Different computer. There we go. Okay. Hang on. I'm trying to get to, there we go. There's a picture of Jackson.
Yeah, there he is. I've already pre-ordered this. They went on sale today. And there's what he looks like in the current Star Wars Adventures comics from IDW. That's an image there.
I thought the way they did the box was cool because they have like based on the way the images were, I have the impression like this is what the front is, and then when you open it up, you have it. So it's like a reminder of the periodical that you had found these characters in.
Yeah, I thought the box art is cool, but I thought it was strange. It's a celebration of Lucasfilm's 50th anniversary. That's why they're doing this, but they used some very modern images for the box. Like I thought they would go back and put like a image of Jackson from the old comics in there. And this is a character from the Crimson Empire comic from the late 90s, but as you pointed out to me earlier, it's labeled as the wrong character on the box art here, and they've
the box art says Carnor Jax.
Yeah, and Hasbro has put out a correction. I think they've implied that they're going to be correcting it when it actually ships.
Yeah, to Kir Kanos.
Yeah, so they just put the wrong character name on there. That character that they described there looks slightly different. He has a different color helmet or something.
Oh, okay. And then there's the Luke Skywalker in the midst of the the period shortly after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, so this would be Luke, I believe, from the Dark Empire comics, or Heir to the Empire. Okay, so this is that artwork is. I want to say that art came out when they adapted Heir to the Empire into a comic book, because that's not the cover for the Heir to the Empire novel.
No, that's why it looked unfamiliar to me.
Yeah, so I think, eventually they did make an Heir to the Empire comic adaptation. I think this is one of the covers from that. So now they've taken that artwork and turned it into the figure of Luke there. But yeah, that is set after Return of the Jedi. It was the introduction of Grand Admiral Thrawn. And then this is what Luke looked like, I guess, in that era.
And it comes with this force-sensitive critter.
Yeah, so these were the Isala Miri was the name of the creature. And these like lizards were capable of blocking the force. They had like a force bubble around them, so you couldn't use the force if you were near them. It was just like a plot device that they used in the novels so that like Grand Admiral Thrawn could be around Luke and Luke wouldn't just, force throw him. The Jedi are kind of overpowered in Star Wars mythology, so they had to find a way to like counter that.
And then I haven't shown any pictures yet of Darth Maul, so let me go ahead and make sure that everybody can see the shirtless Darth Maul before we.
Yeah, and I'm thinking this must be also from another Legends story, maybe from a comic book, maybe one of the Dark Horse comics about Darth Maul, because that's the common theme between all these figures, is that they're all from comics that are no longer canon. So I'm thinking that's what they did here.
And you're right, that is an interesting design choice, given the tag of the celebration of the 50 years of Lucasfilm, to kind of go with something that's kind of external to what's the canonical material now. This character is really impressive.
Yeah, and that's the only one I didn't order.
I'm okay.
I mean, it's just because I'm not a prequel era guy, so I got all the other stuff, but I don't know. Somebody sent me a Darth Maul figure recently, and I have one from Episode 1 when that came out. That's enough Darth Maul for me.
And then coming to Walmart in July are a collection of figures from the Return of the Jedi, and they're retailing for $12.93 plus shipping. They have it's General Leia, well, an AT-ST driver, and Princess Leia in her Endor poncho camouflage. I really like this figure. And then the adorable Ewok Poplu.
Yeah, these are the smaller scale, 3 3/4 inch figures in the vintage collection, and they do have the 50th anniversary Lucasfilm logo on there too. It's nice that this wave is kind of focused on Return of the Jedi.
And we talked about these figures briefly on Barely Necessities. If you are unaware, that's a Tuesday program that we have here on the Laughing Place YouTube channel, where we go over Disney merchandise. And we were discussing these particular items during our Star Wars segment. We try and cover all things Disney. So we have a Disney portion and then a little bit of a Marvel and a little touch on Star Wars. And I reminded my co-host Becca that this little Ewok is the one who helps the Rebel forces by swiping a speeder bike.
Oh, you know what? Let's pause right there. I have something really cool I want to show you.
Okay.
So this was purchased for me by our CEO, Benji.
Okay.
When they sold it, it was going to be a Hasbro Comic-Con exclusive for San Diego Comic-Con, but Comic-Con got canceled this year. But they sold it on the website anyway, and Benji had it for a while, but he came down to visit last week and brought this along with him, and I was so glad to finally get it. It's called the Heroes of Endor set, and it's got this is Luke Skywalker in the Endor. Let me move this out of the way.
Let me still lay out, Mike, for the showcase. Get this banner out of the way. There we go.
So there's Luke. There's Luke in the Endor fatigues.
Nice.
I just love the box. I don't even know if I'm going to take these out of the box because it's such a cool box.
I do love that.
On the other side is Han and Leia. Well, let me get it. There you go.
I love it.
They're like working on opening up the door to the shield generator building.
That is like one of my favorite sequences. That is so well done.
Yeah. And then in the middle is Poplu riding the speeder bike. And the whole thing opens up.
No way, it's like your own little movie.
Display. Yeah, it's so big that it's hard to show on camera, but
wow,
it's such a neat set.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and just when you said Poplu, it reminded me of that he's in there.
That is the best.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it says Poplu and speeder bike. So I already had the speeder bike from it came with the Scout Trooper previously.
Right.
But I do find it odd that in the Black Series now, there have only been 2 Ewoks. One was Tebow, not the football player, but the Ewok. And then the second one now is Poplu. They have never released Wicket, the main Ewok that we know of. And then they haven't released Chief Chirpa, who is the leader of the Ewoks. And they haven't released Logray, who's kind of the mage, I don't know, priest Ewok. And those were always the 3 main Ewoks to me. I just feel it's odd that they've done 2 Ewoks and they're kind of like tertiary Ewoks.
Tertiary, second level Ewok.
Yeah, I just thought that was weird. Like, they got to do like a 3-pack now of Wicket, Chief Chirpa, and Logray.
Yeah. No, that's
especially
true.
with all this Ewok news coming out. You got the Ewok movies.
Now maybe that's what they're waiting for. Maybe they were waiting for this Ewok push.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
And over at Entertainment Earth, they put out an announcement today about pre-order. It may have come out, like it was very recent, but it's a pre-order for an 8-piece set. With the figures from the Mandalorian. This is the retro collection. You see the Mandalorian, Cara Dune. Now I'm gonna forget names. So Grogu, IG-11,
Kuiil, Grogu, Moff Gideon, and Grief Karga.
Yes, thank you. It was the Ugnut whose name was not coming to my
Yeah.
mind. So, so
um,
that was just stumping me.
yeah, so this is the retro collection. They're designed to look like if the Mandalorian had existed in the early 80s. This is what the action figures would have looked like. And I think it's cool. I like that these exist, but they're not really something that I would collect.
Yeah, so you have the plasticky capes, very simplistic, and the colors are a bit more garish than they are now. So, you know, that's kind of reflective of the characters that I would have been purchasing back when I was buying Star Wars characters. And then Funko has announced some GameStop exclusives. The first is a set called the Star Wars Gaming Greats, and it's $30 coming in May. And that's what you see here on the left side of this image. And it is a collection with vinyl bobbleheads and enamel keychain featuring both characters. Are you familiar with these characters, Revon and Bastila Shan?
I don't know the second one. Darth Revan is from the Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay, and I think it's Bastila Shan, but I'm just pronouncing it phonetically.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know that. I actually don't know who that is.
yeah, but they've got these vinyl bobbleheads and the enamel keychain with both characters, an old Republic emblem patch, and then this lanyard with the two-sided alliance look. And like I say, that's $30, and it's a GameStop exclusive. And then the second announcement is this bounty hunter collection. And the first piece that's coming out is Boba Fett. And the way that this set is designed, he has like this backdrop piece. Mm-hmm. And so it'll connect. So you'll have a kind of a lineup of 7. And it's going to recreate. Cool. It says it's going to recreate the bounty hunter scene from The Empire Strikes Back.
So I guess Darth Vader is one of them because there's only 6 bounty hunters in that scene.
Your guess is as good as mine. So, and these are available for pre-order. Boba Fett's available for pre-order now and expected to ship May 3rd. So maybe closer to the ship date, we'll get a better feel for what the remaining pieces of this puzzle are.
And it's not like a blind bag type thing. Like, you know what you're going to get when you buy it.
Yeah, it says this is the first of the pop figures announced. Okay. So that would be, it feels like it's one of those kind of sequential things where you just, keep purchasing as you go along. So yeah, as opposed to like, here's all 7, good luck. And then in the Marvel comic world, they've announced a collection of Pride variant covers. And these will be coming out in June. They've shared the image from the Dr. Aphra title, but they've announced that these variant covers will be featured on several of the Star Wars comic book titles, including Darth Vader, Bounty Hunters, The High Republic, and Star Wars War of Bounty Hunters. And these are variant covers. They're also Marvel is also doing this with some of the more I guess what I would call standard Marvel titles as well. So be on the lookout for those in June. And currently, Mike has been reading Bounty Hunters.
Yeah, Bounty Hunters number 10. I got it right there. I like this issue. This comic is kind of growing on me. I think it's gotten better as it's gone along. I still don't love the art inside. The cover art's nice, but I don't know if the art inside the book is ever gonna do it for me. But this issue was fun. It's like a Die Hard kind of a situation with this guy, Valance, the hunter. He's breaking onto this derelict rebel ship to fight these space pirates. It's actually the Onaka gang of space pirates, although Hondo Onaka is not the leader of the gang anymore at this point. And Valance is like taking them out one at a time on this ship. And Dengar, the other bounty hunter pictured here, is also present. He's been held captive by the gang, and everybody's kind of fighting against each other. And it's just a fun issue. And they're building up to this whole War of the Bounty Hunters thing that's going to be happening over the summer. So that's pretty exciting. And there were some hints as to what that's going to entail in this issue, because Valance finds out that uh, Han Solo was frozen in carbonite, and he's being, he's on Boba Fett's ship, and Valance owes Han Solo for saving his life, or trying to save his life in when they were both Imperial cadets. There's actually a flashback to that in this issue, so I think he's going to try to help Han in upcoming storylines.
Hmm. And then this War of the Bounty Hunters, is this an already scheduled like number of issues arc, or is this a new series?
It's a big like crossover event that they're doing. It crosses over between the main Star Wars comic, Star Wars Bounty Hunters, Dr. Aphra, Darth Vader, and there's going to be a War of the Bounty Hunters miniseries. So it's like the biggest crossover they've done in a long time. There was like Vader Down was another crossover that they did, and then they did this one called Screaming Citadel a few years ago, but really they haven't done anything like this in a while. So I'm pretty excited for all those comics to kind of cross over. And they do this a lot in Marvel Comics with the superheroes, but it's a good way to help them get readers who may like one of the comics, but they're not into like Dr. Aphra or vice versa. Right. And then you have to like force them to buy all the issues, and then you're like, okay, well maybe I do like Dr. Aphra, and then you keep buying.
Or you become a completist and you have to go get the other one since you have this one.
Exactly. Yeah, but I'm excited. Since I already do buy all those comics, I'm excited to read all the crossover issues.
Do you have a favorite of the crossover series that have happened within the Star Wars grouping?
Well, yeah, like I said, I think to my recollection, there's only been 2 before.
So just out of 2.
Yeah, Vader Down and the Screaming Citadel. I guess it must have been Vader Down. I really don't remember even what Screaming Citadel was about. I think these weird like energy vampires or something like.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Vader. Yeah. Neither of them I don't recall being super memorable, I guess. But Vader Down was fun, I guess.
Do you read Marvel enough to have a crossover that you enjoyed from that?
Yeah, I'm actually. It's funny you mentioned that because I buy a lot of comics and then rarely get around to reading most of them, which is a bad thing to do because they are expensive. But I've been reading more lately because I'm trying to look at screens less at nighttime to help my sleep. And I decided to like go back and read a bunch of the comics I bought like 5 years ago. Just to catch up and feel like I got my money's worth in them. So I've been reading a bunch of these Marvel superhero like crossover events. Like I read Civil War 2, which I had bought all the issues of, and that was pretty good. And now I'm reading, it's called Secret Empire, which was like 4 years ago. And it was when Captain America was working for Hydra and he takes over S.H.I.E.L.D. And there's Hydra takes over the whole country, United States, and they trap a bunch of the more powerful superheroes out in space. There's like this big shield that covers up the whole planet, and the superheroes can't get back inside Earth. And then some of them are trapped in New York City. They put New York City in this like dark dimension, and then the rest of the superheroes that are left have to like figure out how to take down evil Captain America and Hydra and stuff.
See, they'll have to do some of our team does what we call Marvel time. That's our CEO Ben and our Marvel content director Mike Mack. They'll need to have like Mike C comes on with retro, with a look back, like flashback to right. previous comics.
Yeah.
So that way you'll have a more motivation to catch up on your reading, because you'll have somewhere to share it too.
Yeah. When I finish this, I've also got Empire, which was I think last summer's big Marvel superhero crossover, EMPYRE, which I think was about the Skrulls, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know, but I bought it. Haven't read it.
Ben reads so many of those. I don't know how Ben finds all the time to consume all the pop culture stuff that he ends up being able to consume and be aware of. It's he must be a really fast reader. So
I think I'm really bad at I'm bad at multitasking. Like my brain cannot focus on more than one thing at a time. And I
Hmm.
know there are people who can like watch TV and like be on their phone or be reading and watching TV at the same time, but I cannot do that. If I'm looking at something else when I'm watching something, I don't absorb what I'm, one or the other. So I have to like focus. And for that reason, like I feel like I consume less than some of
Okay.
our coworkers, but I've been trying to catch up on some of that stuff.
Well, over at I think this is over at Disney World, where these Mandalorian magnets were these. Yeah, these were spotted at Walt Disney World. I suspect it was our teammate Jeremiah. These are like comic book cover style for the Mandalorian with
I want to
those.
say they're actually supposed to represent or resemble packs of like Topps trading cards
Oh, okay. So
from
trading card art.
yeah, like if the Mandalorian does have trading cards because I do have them, but they are not like retro style like that. But this is like
Mm-hmm.
if Topps or a company similar to that had put out like Mandalorian trading cards in the like mid to late 80s, this is probably what the covers of the packs would have looked like. That's what it looks like to me though.
And then as you've pointed out, uh, they have these unusual sayings like Grogu reaching up saying "Hello, friend,"
Yeah.
or this declaration "Stronger than you think" on the one in the middle, and then the one on the left says "This is more than I signed up for." So,
Right. I don't know if any of those phrases are in the show.
right, yeah, you can see where they reflect, but
Yeah.
it's not like a direct draw. And then we have this nice actual Grogu. I was trying to remember if I'd seen anything with like his name emblazoned upon
Yeah.
it in
That
this way.
that's odd to me too though because yes, Grogu is in that, but most of that image is taken up by Ahsoka. Like
Right? Yep. Yeah, it's an interesting choice. And then you have the
right.
traditional representation of Ahsoka.
That
You
one should have said on the bottom of that one, it should say wristband to go with their theme.
Yes, there you go. The supporting element of the image is
Yeah.
highlighted. Yeah, I gotcha. I'm picking it up. The Mandalorian. This is the way. I don't know why, but I really don't like this one.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything for me either. It's kind of like a
Yeah,
biker
maybe that's
logo or
why.
something. I don't
But it
know.
is a car. I mean, I think it is intended to be put on your car. So maybe I'm being too harsh.
Okay.
But it does. It feels like a hood ornament kind of thing. And then you have I've been looking for you, the Mandalorian, with this font that's kind of like I don't know, universal classic horror
Yes. Yes,
monster.
it looks like yeah, it belongs on the Wolf Man. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And the shape looks like an air freshener to me.
I don't disagree. So far, we aren't really jumping at
No,
these.
none of these really appeal to me.
Oh, and then there's this Star Wars Easter egg, and I know you want this one. This one, this one
Wow.
screams Mike Celestino. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far
Wow. I
away.
had not seen that before this moment, and I gotta say, that might be one of my least favorite pieces of Star Wars merchandise I've ever seen.
They had to outdo the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Wow. I don't like the art. I really don't like that phrase. I hate that pun. I just don't like any of it. I'm sorry.
No need to apologize. I hadn't seen it before either. I
Wow,
have to admit, I hadn't scrolled that far down yet.
that's just terrible. It's terrible.
I like how our team wrote it up as they've morphed into, but I think they misidentified who it is. I'll have to talk to our team. It says there's a porg. Oh, there's the porg. Okay, I see the
Oh
porg.
yes, yes.
So Chewbacca, C-3PO, R2-D2, and a porg have morphed into seasonally appropriate shapes.
This should be on a greeting card. That's the only place this would be appropriate. An
Really,
Easter
I think
card.
it'd be fun as like a air freshener.
I guess so. Yeah.
A little seasonal air freshener, a little Easter eggy kind of thing. So yeah. So thank you to Jeremiah for providing
I like
us.
that it says all photos by Jeremiah Good. I should be putting that at the bottom of the post with
Yes,
my images and all the
yes,
photos.
you
I didn't know
should.
that we could be doing that.
Oh, totally. And then also over on the East Coast, you can get a spork. So over at
I've got
Docking Bay 7, food and cargo.
oh, I've got a funny story about the sporks. We told this to
Okay.
Benji yesterday when we saw him at California Adventure. Um, my wife and I went to SeaWorld last weekend for their Seven Seas Food Festival. This is an exception. Okay, and we got some food. As you do, you get food at the Seven Seas Food Festival, and we're like sitting there. I don't eat the food at the theme parks because I can't. But my wife got some food, and she's sitting there eating, and I noticed she's eating with a spork, a metal spork, and I'm like, "You have a metal spork. It looks just like the metal spork from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge." And she shows me, and I'm like, "This is the spork from Galaxy's Edge at SeaWorld." And I was like getting out my phone to like take a picture of it and tweet like at SeaWorld Seven Seas Food Festival, they're giving you the sporks, the metal sporks from Galaxy's Edge with the food to eat. And then she reminded me that we had each bought one at the park, and she had just brought it to SeaWorld to eat with it. Like this was not news. It was just the thing. It's just the thing that we already owned. And
Mike was about to unknowingly create clickbait. You'll
yeah,
never believe what Star Wars Galaxy's Edge item we've discovered in San Diego.
yeah.
And
But that's how my brain works.
then
I was immediately thinking about how to turn this into news, and it
good.
wasn't news.
And then they've also added a few new items, plant-based options. You have a Triple Suns breakfast wrap, and you have a zucchini wrap with this sounds really good. It's grilled zucchini with smoky chickpea, onion slaw, a creamy garlic tahini sauce. Well, forget the cilantro. And then you wrap it in a warm pita. I am one of those who cannot eat cilantro because it tastes like dishwater. And they've also added some yummy desserts. Just these are from Star Wars. These are not Galaxy's Edge items. These are Hollywood Studios items. So Sea Bacon says, "I know you are a Lego fan. So are you going to get to the gunship that's anticipated later this year?" I have not been following Lego, so I'm unsure. Do you know the gunship of which he speaks?
I'm not sure specifically to what they're referring, but it sounds like a prequel thing that I would probably not buy.
Well, that's right. If it's prequel, it's not going to be on Celestino's shopping list.
The question here is also that is the 2003 Clone Wars canon, or is it still Legends? So my understanding is that's technically not canon, but they did refer to the events of the end of that show in season 7 of the new Clone Wars, that came out on Disney Plus last year. Because in the first Clone Wars cartoon, the 2D animated one, it ends with Shaak Ti, the Jedi, chasing after General Grievous or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was supposed to lead into the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. But then in the new Clone Wars, in season 7, they talk about that happening, though that did not happen in the new Clone Wars. That happened in the old Clone Wars. So maybe they are incorporating parts of that Clone Wars into the current canon. I don't know if all of it is canon, but they do this thing now where they pick and choose parts of things from the old canon, the Legends canon, to bring into the current canon. It's just like Jackson. So I don't know. Maybe partially it is canon now. Yes, I don't know.
And then Mike is usually the one who has show and tell, but I got this guy. Have you seen one of these yet? Out of the box?
Yeah, I showed mine out of the box.
Did you show out yours out of the box? I can't
Yeah.
remember. Did yours make noises and stuff too?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. But I think you know what? I remember you talking about that because mine also has the same flaw that yours does, and that is that
Mine's right here.
When they package them, it's like the paint. Some of the paint comes off on the inside of the container.
Oh.
And so, and I've seen other people on YouTube doing the reviews and saying that that'll happen to theirs too. So when you remove it from your container, be very, very gentle and kind to it because it will. My guess is the rubber, when it gets warm, the coloring will attach to the sides of the thing. But yeah, so I now have I finally have my Danyoga. So yeah, I'm very, very happy.
Yeah, and that was another thing that we had to exchange with with Benji when he came down.
Yeah, I'm eager. I think what I'm going to do, my plan is to get some blue semi-sheer material to kind of throw around here and maybe put some lights underneath. And so it'll look like it's in water without actually being in water. Yeah. So I thought that'd be kind of fun.
That would be great. That's a great idea.
Yeah, because I like, yes, it's a Danyoga, Sea Bacon. Because the Danyoga, as many people know, is my favorite of the Star Wars characters.
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to pick that up for you, and it's sat in my garage for a long time.
I'm thrilled to have. This is actually the sequence from when they get Princess Leia out of the prison cell until they get out of the garbage chute. I point to as like the moment I became a Star Wars fan. Like that sequence right there. There's something about that sequence. The fact that Princess Leia kind of just takes charge and gets things done, and then they get into this situation that's horrific, and then the humor with C-3PO. Just it's like this little.
Yes. That's a great guy.
Everything I love about Star Wars.
I wrote a trivia question about that sequence for the upcoming Star Wars Kahoot Disney Trivia Live episode on May the 4th. So study up if you want to excel at one question.
Sea Bacon is a fan of Ithorians and Tals.
Yeah, so Ithorians are like Doc Ondar from Galaxy's Edge.
What I know is Hammerheads.
Used to be called a Hammerhead, yeah. Tals is like a big furry guy. I think they call him either Cabe or Muftak. I want to say Muftak in the cantina. Yeah, Cabe is the little bat-looking guy. They always came together in the action figures. But yeah, Muftak is the big Tals guy. He's like a big furry-looking white furred monster, and he's got like a little protrusion, like a proboscis as a nose.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know. Yeah, okay. I can picture him. Okay, I'm there now. Well, we've made our way through the headlines, but before we wrap up and talk, we end with highlighting your podcast. I wanted to show you an item I stumbled upon in the midst of my prep for Barely Necessities. I'm not sure if it's truly new, but it was new to me, and I find it unusual. I wanted to just discuss it with you real quick, if that's okay.
Sure. It's
this Hoth blue milk shirt, and it's kind of like a beer label.
Okay.
But around the edge of it, it says, by appointment of Princess Leia Organa. And then it says, purveyors of fine milks to the Rebel Alliance. And then Hoth imported milks.
Is this officially licensed?
Yeah. This is a Star Wars. This is on Box Lunch, and this is a company that deals with Star Wars as a licensee and branding and stuff. So yeah, that it's not mom's homemade Etsy shirt.
Yeah, I mean,
isn't that weird?
The nitpicker in me is like, well, blue milk is supposed to be bantha milk. Banthas don't live on Hoth; it's too cold for them.
But they say they're importing, so they're acknowledging, right?
Okay, I guess so.
Right? I mean, it would seem.
I mean, it's like a hip Star Wars thing. that doesn't, it wouldn't really exist in the world of the movies, you know?
Well, I found it kind of funny, this notion that they would have a brand for the Rebel Alliance.
Right.
I,
Yeah. That too.
that's what jumped out to me.
Also, it says 1980. It's the year the movie came out, you know,
Oh.
but the characters in the movie don't know the year that it came out.
Apparently, Steve Bacon wants them to make it, but green milk from Last Jedi.
Well, yeah, then you put it as Octo green milk.
And what, 20 something?
2017. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And it would who would you put as the appointment by? Would you still
I guess
leave
Luke
it?
Skywalker, right?
Would you? I don't know.
Or the caretakers.
I was gonna say maybe you can give acknowledgement to like the hard work, hand delivered by the hard working, caretakers. I don't know. Something like that. Yeah, there you go. But as always, Mike has been continuing his salute to Lucasfilm's 50th. And this week you had Liz Shannon Miller on to discuss Heat.
So Liz and I go back more than 20 years at this point, which is crazy. We went to college together, but she's the senior TV editor at Collider, which is a pretty popular entertainment news website. And she's also a big movie fan. In fact, she competes in the Movie Trivia Schmodown, which is a show that I'm addicted to on YouTube. I always root for her on there. And she was nice enough to come back on the show. This is her second appearance. And in addition to everything Lucasfilm did in its first 50 years, we're also talking about everything George Lucas contributed to. So this movie, Body Heat, is written and directed by Lawrence Kasdan, who co-wrote The Empire Strikes Back. He wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark, Last Crusade. He co-wrote The Force Awakens. He co-wrote Solo, A Star Wars Story. But in 1981, he wanted to get this movie made, Body Heat, and George Lucas helped him get it made by basically vouching for him. And he served as executive producer on it, though he wasn't credited in the film because it's not family friendly. It's the least family friendly movie that we'll probably ever talk about on Who's the Bossk. But it was a good conversation and a very good film. Exclusively for adults. Please do not show this to any children. But in addition to Body Heat, we also spent a long time talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League, which Liz had just watched it. She just watched her screener of it, like right before we recorded the podcast. So I had a lot of questions for her. I still have not watched it myself, but I was very curious to know what she thought of the movie. So it's a nice long episode. It's about 2 hours of conversation. Me
nice.
and Liz, old friends talking about pop culture.
Fun.
So if you're into that kind of thing, check it out.
In regards to the Snyder cut of Justice League, I heard somebody discussing it the other day as they couldn't believe how much better it was, but by no means are they trying to tell you that it's a good movie. that made me giggle. So I haven't seen either. I haven't seen any of it, but that particular analysis of it made me chuckle. So I got a kick out of it.
I'm like perversely fascinated by this. I don't care for Zack Snyder as a filmmaker, but I also did not like the Joss Whedon version of Justice League. And I'm not a super DC fan. I mean, Batman is my favorite overall superhero, but I'm not into the rest of the DC universe. So I'm looking forward to the Matt Reeves. Is it Matt Reeves? Yes. Matt Reeves is making the next Batman film. He made the Planet of the Apes movies recently, but I think he'll do a good job on Batman. But I could take or leave the Zack Snyder verse DC stuff. So, but I am very interested in like the behind the scenes story of what happened with this movie. And as a glutton for punishment, I am going to be watching this over the weekend. So we'll see. And
as a reminder, you can If you like and subscribe to this stream, you will get updated when we are going live with any news regarding the Disney company's many, many different areas of creation, whether it's Disney Studios proper, the Disney parks, Marvel, or Star Wars. And then we also come to you live from a lot of different locations. I know, as Mike mentioned, he was sharing content on our Instagram and probably Twitter as well, or actually Twitter and probably Instagram as well, from the SeaWorld event. And I know he was live from Knott's not too long ago. And then this week he was live from California Adventure.
I was surprised at how well this came out. I was like, there's no way this is going to look good as a photo op, but I managed to get the pose correctly. Like I stood in the right place. The thing lined up. The wings lined up.
Yeah.
There you go. It came out all right. I mean, my wife guided me of like where to stand exactly to be in the right spot, but yeah, that was a fun. That was a really fun day. We're going to talk about that a bunch on Monday when we do Parks Talk, I'm sure. But it was so nice to be in the rest of the park, and it really made me anticipatory of what's to come in a month and a half.
And so don't forget to follow Mike at Who's the Bossk Pod. That's Mike's Twitter account where he shares information about his podcast as well as highlights from his adventures. He also is our West Coast reporter, so a lot of his images and content are what's on the Laughing Place Twitter as well. So you can follow us on Laughing Place on Twitter and Instagram. And I guess that's it from us here this week at Star Wars Headlines. We'll be back. I know Laughing Place has Saturday night, 7:30, Disney Trivia Live. So we'll be having some Disney trivia fun. It's always a blast. It's a head-to-head trivia via the Kahoot app. My husband and son host that. So yeah, lots going on over here at Laughing Place. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.